All right,
All
what
right,
did you watch next?
Next movie. Gekijō-ban Dobutsu no Mori.
Oh yeah, that one.
Otherwise known as Animal Crossing the movie.
Yay!
Did you get a chance to watch that?
No, I haven't watched it yet because I'm afraid to, in that I'm gonna watch it during work and get in. I just know it because it's on my computer, but no.
So
please continue though.
So it's an animated adaptation of Animal Crossing, never released outside of Japan, unfortunately.
My island, I'm redoing the whole thing, by the way, and I'm scrapping any of I'm not starting a new island. I'm using my same one. So like there's some, but like it's coming along quite nice anyway. So well, whenever
maybe we'll see it during the next Extra Life charity event.
Oh yeah, so, it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
I think this game was based off of New Leaf, which was the DS follow-up to the 64 /GameCube original.
Yeah.
So if you watch it, those are a lot of the characters. Most of the characters have continued on, but so you'll see stuff like the Able sisters, and there's that elephant. The elephants there. I can't remember. I mean, the movie has all the Japanese names in it, so I.
Oh, sure.
Or maybe Actually, I think what it does is the subtitle track uses the American names. So Apollo the Eagle is actually written as Apollo instead of whatever his name is. Oh. And they say KK Slider instead of whatever his name is. I can't remember after.
Oh man, I can't tell you that. I don't know where you got that sweatshirt, but it is the most comfortable. I wear it.
Hot Topic, I think.
Oh, that's right. You did get it at Hot Topic. I knew that. Because I remember, yes, you did. Oh my God, I love that sweatshirt. It's stupid. Like, yeah.
So a girl moves to the village of Animal Crossing. Tom Nook makes her work for him, and she makes friends with the villagers and writes letters when one moves away. And then an alien shows up, and parts of the ship get scattered all over, so they have to go on a scavenger hunt to find the pieces of the alien spacecraft so they can go home.
Sounds right.
And and she accidentally falls in Apollo's flower bed and feels really bad about it, and then she is in the owl dude's coffee shop and apologizes to him for stepping on his flowers. And the movie is boring, but it's adorable.
I can't wait to watch it.
Which is exactly what Animal Crossing is to me. So this might be the greatest, most accurate movie adaptation of a video game of all time.
Just you explaining it, I'm like, yes, that's totally because, like, you know, Captain gets, or whatever his ass's name always gets, not Captain, Gulliver and stuff. They get washed up on shore.
Oh, the pelican,
the communicator parts, and so you have to go wandering around looking for the communicator parts.
Yeah, Tortimer, the mayor, is there.
He's there. He lives on Harv's Island, and he's a little older now. Like now in New Horizons, he's like the ex-mayor, and he's like an old cantankerous man. And
yeah, I think Blathers the owl is the museum curator. Yeah, so if you like Animal Crossing, you will probably like this movie. Whether you like Animal Crossing or not, I think we can all agree that Animal Crossing is totes adorbs. And so is the movie. So I think it's probably a success for Animal Crossing fans.
That's so cool.
And it's only an hour and a half. It's not like 2.5 hours long. So.
That's so cool. I'm excited.
Okay, moving on. His Girl Friday.
Oh, here we go. That the old one.
Yeah, 1940.
Yeah.
Let me just read what I wrote.
Oh boy.
No, I like the movie. But let me just kind of refresh my memory here.
Okay.
This movie's energy is at a 10 for the entire 90 minutes, making it an exhausting watch. The protagonists are terrible people, and there's one bit that's so dark it's tonally discordant, but otherwise a pretty funny, entertaining movie with charismatic leads.
Okay.
And let me pull up IMDb real quick so I can make sure I've got the right actors in this.
Okay. Where's my baby?
I think it's Cary Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love watching these two? These two are some of the best, funniest, charismatic performers of their era. So it's about a newspaper dude and his ex, former newspaper dudette, who is marrying just some nice guy, just kind of an unassuming, mediocre, unexciting guy, just some guy. And Cary Grant is still, he's not in love with her. He's just kind of annoyed that she'd marry someone who isn't as cool as him. So he tries to, and she's always got the newspaper reporter bug. You know, she can't leave a story alone, and he takes advantage of that. It's like, oh, there's a thing happening, and your train leaves at 6. You're picking up his mother. You've plenty of time just to go down, get the interview with this guy who's on death row or whatever, and then we can publish it, and then you'll never hear from me again. It'll be fine. And it's just these two taking advantage of each other. And like what I said, with the movie energy levels at a 10, these two are very just quippy, fast talkers, talk, quip, insult, and it's just at that level the entire 90 minutes. It makes me feel like I chugged 2 gallons of coffee.
Well, like, I remember
the movie makes me nervous.
Nick and Nora are like that there, but like it's
the tall man, sure,
yeah, but it's the thin man, right?
Oh, Thin Man, yeah.
But there's so
can't remember.
It's the Thin Man, yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, the Thin Man.
Okay.
William Cullen Myrna Loy.
It reminds me of them, because you're talking about like the quips and the banter and like some of the scathing things they say to each other, and you're just like, whoa. But so is it like that? Is that kind of quippery? Is that a word?
Yes, but yes. Yeah, this feels like it was probably adapted from a play, because it's one of those almost single location things. It feels like this would sing on stage. What I was talking, both when I said that both protagonists are terrible people, they genuinely are. They're both just really shitty people, which can be kind of funny, but
it can work.
It can work, and it does a little bit. But I mean, the one bit that's so dark is one woman jumps out a window. I can't remember what exactly circumstances are, but I don't remember if she like dies.
Oh.
But she's like the girlfriend of the guy who's on death row, and they like smuggle him into the office, and they like hide him in one of those desks with the roll down tops.
Yeah.
She just freaks out and jumps out a window, and I'm like, that can be funny, but it's like I said, it's tonally discordant from the type of humor. It's like, oh shit. You're like, what the hell? It's really actually kind of off-putting. But overall, it's a genuinely funny, entertaining movie with Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell are just eminently likable performers. And very funny. Their delivery they have wonderful comic timing and delivery. So, overall, I really quite enjoyed the movie.
Have you ever seen It Happens One Night? Or It Happened One Night? Gable and Bardot?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Watch it. I believe it's on Criterion at the moment.
Okay. Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert.
Oh, okay. I was wrong. It wasn't Bridget Bardot. It's Claudette Colbert. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Renegade reporter trailing young runaway heiress for big story joins her on a bus heading from Florida to New York, and they end up stuck with each other when the bus leaves them behind at one of the stops. Nope. Pretty sure I haven't seen that.
So good. It's like
Clark Gable. That'd probably be earlier. Let's 1934. Yeah. Okay.
I still think it's on Criterion. If it's not on Criterion, it's on something else right now. Because I was like, oh, I remember that movie. I love that movie. I believe I watched it with Großmutter. Anyways, it reminds me of this and the fact that it's just the reporters and like the banter. And it's just, I don't know. I liked that style.
Doesn't appear to be streaming anywhere, but you can rent it from Amazon, Vudu, Apple TV, YouTube.
Okay, well, don't spend money
Redbox.
on it.
Yeah, it'll probably show up on streaming at some point.
Yeah.
All right.
Please continue. But anyways, there's a recommendation to y'all if you like that kind of 40s, late 30s, early 40s quipperies.
Yeah. All right. Miss Minoes, which is it's a movie from the Netherlands. From
okay, I'm like,
2001.
are we going to continue the sentence?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
A cat turns into a human and helps a reporter find stories with the help of her feline friends. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So a cat because they're the big corporate.
Is the cat okay with being human?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But of course, she has a lot of cat mannerisms. Like anytime she sees a dog, she just jumps straight up a tree. So you see this woman just up in a tree going, not the dog, not the dog. I can't help it.
Oh
There's
my God.
Dog. And he's like, come down. And she's like, just climb down. And she just jumps down and just thwump. She's constantly entering a building by she crawls up onto the roof. She's hanging out on the roof all the time, goes through the window. She curls up in a box on the side of the room.
Yes.
So it's one of those evil corporation burying toxic waste in the backyard, accidentally turns a cat into a human for some reason.
Sure.
But she can still talk to all of her cat friends. So she basically becomes an investigative reporter and helps this guy who's on his last chance at his job. So she uses her network of cats to find stories for him to write about so he can keep his job so that she can have a place to live.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anything like this. That's awesome.
I wrote, it's equally charming and dorky. It's shot like a made-for-TV movie with the production design of a 60s musical. Seriously, it kind of has that look. It looks almost like West Side Stories, New York. That kind of with the obviously fronted buildings with the scrim behind them lit up in purple or pink. That kind of a production design look to it. I said impressive editing gets readable performances out of the cats. And now that I read that sentence, remember, because all of the actual felines she's constantly interacting with and talking to, and they give pretty good performances. I'm like, oh God, that must have been a nightmare to shoot and edit to get these cats to go, yeah, or and of course she has this thing, nosy, which is cats putting their noses together. So she does that with humans too,
oh my goodness,
which is both kind of uncomfortable but also kind of adorable. And also I was looking at this main actor here. I'm like, I have seen her somewhere before. And I was like, I mean, this is a movie from the Netherlands. What would I have seen her in? So I looked up IMDb. She's the lead in Black Book, the Paul Verhoeven movie from a few years later, like 2005 or 6. And I was like, holy crap, that's what I know her from. Okay, that is a hell of a range from this dorky little cat comedy to the Nazi infiltrator spy Verhoeven movie.
Dang. I'm quite interested in this movie. It just sounds so different from anything.
Yeah.
Like
it's
like a human turning into a cat. I feel because there's a lot of like those what is that movie that Tom Holland is in? It's and I think Will Smith plays a pigeon. like some spy pigeon thing.
Oh, the animated thing, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like humans turning
yeah.
into unfortunate animals or fortunate animals.
Princess and the Frog,
happens all the time, but like the animal turning into a human is such an interesting.
Well, how can she talk? Well, because all cats can talk. We just can't understand them. That's why.
I love it. Yeah.
And
I love that.
Yeah, and they how do they bring down the evil corporate dude? Is it through his corporate misdeeds? No, they film him abusing a cat. And people are like, son of a bitch.
Well,
now,
yeah.
You can dump toxic waste and murder people, but you don't shoot at cats, you scumbag. So yeah, it is kind of it is a little weird that the one guy obviously is pursuing a romantic relationship with a cat. It's like, don't have sex with a cat. You're having sex with a cat. Please.
Yeah.
That's a little, maybe don't think about that too much.
Like there are some, and I can't think of it at this exact moment, but there are some like movies and stuff where you're like, I just like, and I'm not gonna like, there's some things that you're just like, I just need to not think about it and it will be fine. Like I felt that way a little bit about Loki as well.
The Disney Plus series?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, with him essentially. Well, I mean, who would Loki love more than himself?
And like, even though it works, because
what's your ideal partner? Me, as a hot woman.
Yeah, and honestly, yes, absolutely, it tracks for Loki, but it still gives me.
Yes, this.
It's still like there's like a little like gross. So yeah.
Because Loki's totally the guy who'd look in the mirror and go, yeah, I do me.
Like he is. Yeah, 100%. So,
all right, next movie. From 1948.
Ooh.
The Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
There you go. Isn't Paul, what's his name in that? Nope, never mind. No, he's not. Paul, what's his name is not in that because it's from the 40s, Eisen.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti?
I was thinking of the guy who does the salad dressings. Newman.
Oh, Paul Newman.
And then I realized that you said 40s, and I'm like, that's not how math works.
No, this has Humphrey Bogart in it and other people. Let's see, Walter Houston, Tim Holt. Yeah, people I don't know, but Humphrey Bogart is who we know.
Okay. It's remade though, several question mark.
I would not be surprised. Let's see. Well, I only see one Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
Fine.
If it's been remade, it might have been remade with a different title. I mean, it's definitely.
I'm just making shit up.
Yeah, it's based on a book, like most things are.
The only reason I ask is because I'm like, what am I thinking of then?
Yeah. So it's about two guys who are broke, living job to job, just trying to do odd jobs so that they can get by. And they're in a shelter for the night, and they meet an old prospector guy who is like, oh yeah, I know how to go out and pan for gold, but the problem is people just stop trusting each other and they end up shooting each other, and it always happens. They're like, well, we wouldn't do that because we just, we'll just say as soon as we get like $6,000 or whatever they need,
right.
Of course, this doesnn't take place in 1940. This takes place in 1800 or something. We'll just call it a day and we'll split up the proceeds and we'll go our separate ways and it'll be fine. So it's an adventure where these three guys, go out and, because I think Humphrey Bogart wins the lottery so that they can, because the old prospector guy's like, look, if you can get $500 or whatever, because we need pack mules, we need food, we need tools, and we need all that. This is what we need. So we need money to invest in it. And he just happens to win the lottery. And he's like, okay, I'll put this down and we'll go out into the woods and then we'll find gold. And the story is them, the trust just slowly devolving and no one ending up happy.
So character study, eh?
It's a character study, yeah. I wrote solid film I had a hard time enjoying because Bogart's character is a stupid, greedy, selfish asshole, which shouldn't be an issue, as that's literally the point of the movie. But he still annoyed me. Unexpectedly strong ending, though, so kudos on that. They run into a fourth guy who's like, I see you guys are out here panning for gold, and it'd be a shame if I went back to town and told everyone that you guys had found a gold vein and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, do we need to kill this guy or should we?
Oh my.
And so they're debating, should we kill this guy or should we let him in on it? Or, you know,
fuck.
And this guy, if I'm remembering correctly, it turns out something like he has a wife and a kid who they're about to lose the farm or something. So he's just doing anything he can to try and make money. So I think what happens at the end of the movie is something like Humphrey Bogart. They ditch the prospector and then he shoots the other guy and leaves him for dead and steals all the stuff. And then he gets robbed by bandits and killed. The other guy survives. The prospector finds him and they try to track down where the bandits went and they find them, but they thought they just had bags of sand. So the bandits just stole the donkeys and sold them, but just dumped the sand. And it's just, so all of it's lost. And at the end of the movie, I think the one guy who survived, both the prospector and the other guy survived, but he's like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the other guy the fourth guy, I'm going to find his family and good God, I'm going to find his family and make sure they're okay or something like that. So it actually ties together there's a setup and a payoff and an actual character arc and a moral and stuff. But God, Humphrey Bogart's character, it becomes just such a slime that I honestly, and again, that's literally the point of the narrative, but oh my God, it's like, oh, screw this.
Doesn't make it easy to watch just because it's the point of the narrative.
And it's like, oh my God, guys, if you could all be rich if you would just stop being assholes. And it's like, yeah, Andrew, that's the point.
I can't even because I can't. Yeah, I listen to enough and only currently listen to the podcast that I listen to about true crime, and it's just like it literally. There's a lot of like terrible people, but then there's a lot of people who are just like judgment, like just they're like just somehow. I'm like, wow, if only someone told you earlier that like maybe don't like this, like so much could change if you just had like, some training and good judgment or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, very interesting.
All right.
And that is a very famous movie.
Oh yeah, that's one of the known ones.
It's very, yeah, I don't think I ever really knew what it was about. So this is very interesting to me. And it's actually very, I would love to, I've always wanted to watch it just because it's one of those.
It's worth seeing, yeah.
You should see. Mm-hmm. But your description of it is quite like, because I love a good character arc. I like a good, even when it's off-putting sometimes.
And nothing wrong with Bogart's performance. His performance is solid. It's just the guy just annoys me because he gets super paranoid and then he's you're after my gold. You're after me like a charm.
Are the other actors of note, or like do you remember who they are, or are they just
like the prospector is a guy you'd like? I've seen him and stuff. Okay. If you've watched a lot of old movies, you've seen him. Sure. I don't think I really recognized anyone else in the movie. Bogart's definitely the headliner here. But yeah, no one else that I'm particularly familiar with.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to, next time I see Tim, I'll be like, hey, let's watch this, because I watch a lot of my old movies with Tim. So
all right. All right, next, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Now, in previous episodes, I watched the 1934 version of The Man Who Knew Too Much,
Right.
and I had called it by far the worst Hitchcock I'd seen.
Yes,
So
I remember.
I was really interested in checking out the 1956 version, which was also directed by Hitchcock. So apparently he was like, yes,
I can do better.
It sucked. I can do better.
And can he, brother?
No,
can he?
no. This is amazingly orders of magnitude worse.
Oh no!
It is so much worse. Almost all the changes are genuinely dumb, laughable even, and it stars Jimmy Stewart, who I generally don't care for.
I just don't like Jimmy Stewart.
I don't like James Stewart, and his character is just utterly repugnant and insufferable. I remember in the original movie they had this thing where the wife was like a Olympic skeet shooter or something like that, and that actually comes into play at the end of the movie where she, takes the rifle for, because they have the big standoff. She takes the rifle and she shoots shoots the guy menacing the kid, and that's completely gone. She has like really nothing to do. It's also really racist.
So is the script pretty much the same? Is it really him taking his own movie and just trying to update it?
Yeah, I think he was just trying to do it better, but it's terrible. It's the same general setup where man and woman are on some type of vacation with their kid. And it's one of the, oh God, who plays the wife? Hang on.
Okay.
Her name escapes me. Hang on. Man Who Knew Too Much. Doris Day. Doris Day is in the movie. So, as would happen a lot especially in the 50s and 60s, whenever you had someone in your movie who was a known singer, you would stop the plot dead, and have them sing, because if you're going to have Doris Day in your movie, she going to sing. Rio Bravo is another movie that comes off the top of my head where they forget who's in it, but they stopped the movie absolutely cold to have a
song. Yeah,
is it Dean Martin? Ricky Nelson. Dean Martin is in it, but they have Ricky Nelson in the movie, so they stopped the thing absolutely cold to have him noodle on his guitar and sing. They do the same thing in this movie, although to be fair, the fact that she's a known singer comes into the plot. So instead of shooting the bad guy at the end of the movie, they find out where the kid is being held, so they finagle their way, use their her fame to get in and do an impromptu recital. And so she's singing the song she sang at the beginning of the movie at the top of her lungs to try and indicate that her kid is here, to get him to yell "mommy, mommy," so that
we can go get him.
It's like, oh my gosh, there's a kid trapped somewhere.
Positioning. Okay.
Yeah, and the ending's stupid. It's who's the, because it was Peter Lorre in the original movie. Who the hell was the bad guy in this one? Let me see. Is it anyone I know? Is that why I don't remember? Yeah, okay, maybe it's yeah, I don't recognize anyone in the cast, so I don't remember who played the bad guy. It was Peter Lorre in the original.
Yeah.
But it's just it's been 3 months, so I've kind of like blocked it from my mind. I just remember it being even worse than the 34 version.
So have you ever seen the movie The Man Who Knew Too Little? I think it's with Bill
Murray in it.
I think it is.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Because that's funny.
Yeah, it's a funny, spoofy spy comedy. It takes at the basic setup of this, where a average person finds out a bit of spy trivia, and in these movies, it's the bad guys are like, we know you know the spy thing, but we have your son, so don't tell anybody. We're just going to assassinate a dude. You don't know them. Doesn't have anything to do with your country. Just leave it be and you'll get your kid back. And
right.
It's an interesting dilemma for parents. It's like, we just want our kid. We don't really care about, I mean, it's really sad, but it's some political machinations of some other countries in their embassy. I don't care. I want my kid back.
Yeah.
And they even the scene in because the whole the whole event, the assassination is that they in both movies there's like an opera. It's like, you're gonna shoot the embassy dude who's in the box seat. You're gonna shoot him right as the cymbals clash at the end of the song, so no one will hear the gunshot. That's the assassination plot.
Okay.
And I remember that sequence actually being genuinely tense in the first movie, because Hitchcock, he's good at this stuff. In this movie, it's not. It's just boring and dumb, and I don't remember exactly why.
Oh man, this is upsetting. This is genuinely upsetting because it's still Hitchcock. Like, you're thinking to yourself, "Yes, dude, like you got this.
You
like,
got this." No, you don't got this. This is, as I wrote, orders of magnitude worse than the 34 version, which I had called the worst Hitchcock I'd seen. So,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have time for one more? Or
yeah, we got time for one more, I suppose.
Okay.
All right. This is French, so I'm not going to pronounce it very well.
Yeah. Nope. That's the one that I can't even pronounce French words.
Yeah. Le Calendrier.
The calendar?
Yeah, the calendar.
Okay.
Calendrier. Le Calendrier. I don't know my.
I don't know French at all. And then they have,
even if I knew it, I can't pronounce it anyway.
And then they have a letter, like the letter C with a question mark attached to it somehow. I'm like, what is this? Like, okay. I don't know. Like, yeah.
3-word summary. Haunted Advent Calendar.
Ha!
Right? What a cool idea. So,
every day is another Dybbuk box type of a thing. You're like,
yes, it's such a cool premise. Here's what I wrote: a cool idea! ! Most of it is executed really well. The design of the titular prop, the actual advent calendar,
is it animated or is it?
No, it's live action.
Okay, please
live
continue.
Action. The design of the titular prop is super spiffy, and there's a lot of really fun cinematography. Unfortunately, I never connected with the characters, so the narrative ultimately left me cold. So the basic setup of this is there's a woman who is, I don't remember if she's recovering from an accident or like she's on medical leave or something like that, but her friend was in like Germany, and she picked her up a present, and she comes back and she's like, I got you this cool advent calendar, which is this, how like a dartboard often comes in this big wooden case with the doors shut over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same idea, where it's this big wood thing with doors that open up like this, and all of the different days are various drawers that are opened with a key that comes with the calendar. So it's this big, elaborate, ornate, almost gothic looking it's a really, really cool design. It's the kind of thing that you'd find in a curio shop and be like, oh, that's definitely haunted.
Oh yeah, no.
It's one of those things where you look at a movie character and you're like, that's definitely haunted. Don't buy that. Don't feed it after midnight. I mean, that's a big no.
Exactly.
So she buys her friend. So she's in Germany, and she buys her friend this advent calendar, and she brings it to her, and she's like, "Here, I got you this present. It's an advent calendar." And it's something like, I think when she gets it to her on like December 4th. So the first night they end up opening like the first 4 drawers. And she says, okay. And she's like, there are rules. It comes with a card, or it's stenciled into the back. And it says something like, rule 1, you must open every door. If you don't, you will die, or I will kill you, or something like that. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. You must eat the chocolate or the candy or whatever that's in each door. If you
Okay,
don't,
because I was
I'll kill
literally
you.
this close to saying the only good advent calendar is only the chocolate advent calendars that are like super
Yep.
$10 and done. So these have candies in them too?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes. But they have different effects, and they're sometimes like, I think one of them's like,
These,
yeah, one of the candies is like in the shape of a penis or something like that, and then there's one that's in the shape of like the Mother Mary or something. That's like, well, that seems kind of blasphemous to put in my mouth. And rule 3 is you must follow the instructions that are in each, or I will kill you, or something like that. And they're like, oh, this is a fun thing. And again, this is something I saw, 2.5 months ago. So I'm trying to remember what it is.
If anyone ever gave me a game or any sort of thing that was like,
follow the rules or I'll kill you.
Yeah, I'd be like, so did you do any investigating into this before you gave me this? Because apparently, I play Hunt a Killer, which we know because I talked last night about it. But like, girl didn't actually die, and it like we'll talk about the game and stuff later. I can't wait to get to the next box. But like,
it hasn't shipped yet, but it's on order.
Fine. I'm not.
Well, it's Sunday, so I'm not really.
We play it with our friends, and that's why it takes so long, is because trying to get their schedules and our schedules aligned. We're like, so we got again together last night, and now they're like, we're ready now for box 2. But anyways, point is like, if we didn't like, it's okay. There was no real murder. It's all a game. But like, there's also not anything.
The game isn't threatening to kill you either.
But like, there's also nothing in the box that says if you don't get this solved, like we are actually going to kill the woman. If you don't solve this case, we'll kill you. Like, that's So that would be so. Like, I don't know how I would react to something telling me, oh, how fun and quirky. Oh, those Germans.
Yeah. So.
I'm sorry. I really went off. Like,
so it's like, weird things happen, and I think there's like a toy car in one of the advent calendar boxes, and she's like, what the hell is this? And then like her dog eats the car, like just destroys it. And then that day, some guy who was like menacing her like dies in a car wreck or something like that. It's like, one of the candies is shaped like a heart, so she like takes it and then works up the courage to talk to a guy that she's been eyeballing at a cafe. And then there's another one that like she wakes up like 8 days later and it's like,
oh, what? Shit.
And then
like, now I have to eat all of these.
Well, and then she finds out that, the 8 days have been open. So apparently she's been doing stuff for like the last 8 days, but she doesn't know. Because I was wondering what they were going to do, because they're like because the movie's like day 1, day 2, day 3. I'm like, are we going to have all like, 31 days here? Because that's either real short segments or a really long movie, but there's like jumps in there. And then she finds out that there was someone had this calendar before her, and
I think the advent calendar only goes to 25 days. It doesn't do it doesn't.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay. So that maybe it just goes to Christmas.
Because Advent is the time before. I mean, again, not.
Yeah, it's probably.
I don't know, but like, I think
you're probably right.
Okay.
But really, really cool idea for a movie. I like the idea of a haunted advent calendar. It's like, well, what's in the box? What horrible thing is there gonna be razor blades in the chocolate? Do I have to eat this thing? What's gonna happen to me if I do? What's gonna happen to me if I don't? And it's there's some good stuff in there. I unfortunately I just didn't really care about any of the characters in the movie, so I didn't connect with the narrative particularly strongly, but certainly a really interesting premise for a horror movie. Haunted advent calendar. I basically read that log line. I'm like, okay, I'll watch this. That sounds great.
I'm in. Yeah, I must say, like, I have found the movies that you have watched, even though a lot of them are familiar to me, I haven't seen them, but like I know of Miss Pam Grier's like early oeuvre. I know of like these things, but like even Sierra Madre, I don't think I never knew the plot, and that you have found some very interesting, like a cat that turns into a human and a spooky advent calendar, and then like the psyche of human development when money creates monsters, but like it's just such an, like, you have found some very interesting. I'm sorry that a lot of the interesting plots didn't turn into
one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool that you've hit several things that are not just a wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say La Calendrier, or however that's pronounced, is a movie it's certainly nothing I'll watch again. I'm not going to buy the DVD,
and I'm not going to watch it.
I don't think I'd even recommend it. But it's for me, it's kind of like superhero comic books. I'm a big comic book dork. I've read a lot of the mainstays, the main Marvel and DC superhero comic books, and I don't think they're very good. But I think they oftentimes have really interesting ideas. Like well, I was talking about I was looking forward to the She-Hulk show.
Right.
Earlier.
Yeah.
So there's a run of She-Hulk where Jennifer Walters is a lawyer, and so she is often defending a lot of different superheroes. So what if so there's a thing where she once defends Spider-Man because Spider-Man sues J. Jonah Jameson for libel.
Nice.
And so I think so. Well, she's, I guess, prosecuting, I guess, which is kind of where I guess she's a prosecutor and a defense lawyer, which is where, or maybe I'm remembering wrong. But the idea of Spider-Man suing J. Jonah Jameson for libel is hilarious. But what happens is they find out through the course of discovery that Peter Parker faked a photo of Spider-Man. So basically he gets added to the suit, which legally I don't think is how that works. So Spider-Man is essentially suing himself. So he's like, I want to settle. And it's like, but you're bringing the suit. No, he's like, I want to settle. And that's a hilarious idea. It's not done very well. Like from a narrative standpoint, it's like the storytelling is weak, but the idea is so good. I think later on in that same run, Eros, Star Fox, that he was in the specials, the end credit scene of Eternals. Was it Harry Styles who was playing him?
Oh, there was is that who that is?
I think so, right?
Maybe. I think it's I don't know if it's, I can't tell them apart. It could be a Jonas or it could be a.
All right, IMDb, help us out.
They all look alike. I don't know. I can't tell the Jonases from the One Directions from the.
Okay, let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, it's Harry Styles.
Okay. They all look
as
alike.
Eros, Star Fox, brother of Thanos, so that character's big deal is he has like the superpower of super pheromones, so he can make you really super horny for him. That's like one of, he can also fly and he's super strong, but
I know what these kids look like. My guess is that they have that power because I don't see it.
Well, that's kind of the there's a story in She-Hulk where Eros sleeps with some woman who then sues him for sexual assault because he essentially roofied her with his mind, because he has those mind manipulation powers. So she sues him for sexual assault. I'm like, that's an amazing idea.
Oh, wow.
And once again, the storytelling is pretty weak. And so that's kind of how I'm viewing a lot of these movies. Is kind of how I view a lot of superhero comics, is in that they have some truly amazing ideas, but the storytelling, storytelling, there's a G, is often fairly weak. And I think a lot of that has to do with time, budget, money. They've only got 24 or 30 pages to tell a story. They have to get the entire thing written and animated or drawn and laid out and lettered and inked and colored and everything in 30 days or however long the production cycle is. And that's probably, and then they have to worry about continuity with everything else that's going on in the Marvel universe, the DC universe, because Civil War is happening at the Marvel Civil War event, or the with some of the DC ones, Final Crisis is happening at the same time, so they have to time. So that's probably a lot of the reason why oftentimes the storytelling is not particularly good. But man, I still read them.
Yeah.
Because the ideas are so good. And hence, La Calendar, Haunted Advent Calendar is just such a fun idea. Even if the storytelling isn't quite up to snuff, I still wring a lot of enjoyment out of it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of you kind of fill in, especially with comics, because like the thing about comics that I've known,
you're expected to do a bunch of heavy lifting, I think.
Yeah, I think that, exactly.
Especially with the superhero comics. There are a lot of independent comics that are like, probably one of the big ones in the news right now is Saga, which just came back after a hiatus. I've read the first several issues of that. It's one of those I feel like I want to wait until they're done so I can read the entire thing in one shot, because I don't want to wait if they take another several year hiatus. Genuinely really good, strong story, wonderful writing, wonderful characters. I love it a lot. I find the actual superheroes in the big universe of other superheroes, mainly the Marvel and DC stuff, are oftentimes the weakest from a storytelling standpoint. But man alive, they've got such amazing ideas that it still a lot of times makes it worth a read. So, okay, we're going to have to call it here because I got to do my Sunday stream. I've still got more movies to talk about. Kelly's got one more.
I have one more.
So we will be back another time with even more monthly movie mini reviews for December of 2021. Maybe we'll catch up someday. In the meantime, bye.
Bye.